What's up, everybody? I want a podcast now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about the potential for the Harry Potter open world RPG. Now, I promised you guys more videos on this, and I am going to deliver. I'm trying to aim for a video on this game every couple of weeks, and obviously, as we get closer and closer, we could be only around a month away from getting a reveal of this game. So that's very, very exciting. We'll be covering it, when it happens. We'll obviously have loads more topics, loads more info that we're able to talk about once we are able to see this game, right? And we can lead right into whenever the game releases, even if it's like a year and a half away from when they, if it's in the fall of 2021, we can be covering it for quite a long time. So it's going to be really, really fun. If you guys have liked my videos on this game and you guys, are looking forward to seeing more, make sure you guys are subscribed, have that bell icon turned on, because like I said, we're going to have, over the next couple of years, we're going to have lots of videos on this game. And so, one of the themes that I have always talked about, and I've talked about this game for, I believe, over a full year at this point, and one of the themes I've always talked about is the potential for this game. And it's something that, when you think of Harry Potter, not everybody loves Harry Potter. Not everybody does. Not everybody was into, the wizarding world. Not everybody was in the same age group as, those three, throughout the movies, have that kind of experience. But what makes this game so enormous, or what could, I should say, right? Because it's all about potential. It's all about what could be, is what they could do with something like this. We talked about this with Rocksteady's game. Rocksteady's game has enormous potential too, right? A Justice League, a Suicide Squad game, the amount of things you could do. But Harry Potter, out of all of them, we know leaks for Injustice. We know Hitman 3. We know Rocksteady. We know this Harry Potter game. We know Batman. We know there could be even a Superman game. All of these things, a lot of things Warner Bros. I truly think Harry Potter has the most potential. Now, again, I've always said that I'll save, for a later date, sometime in the future, of which of those three games, Rocksteady, Batman, Harry Potter, I'm most looking forward to. I'll rank them one day, maybe even in a video. But I think if we're ranking potential, I think Harry Potter is the top. I truly do. It's what makes it the most special, because I've even seen in the year that I've covered this game, in the comments, and people say it literally every single video, that they understand. They understand, why this game can be so big. And while they're not the biggest Harry Potter fans in the world, or they haven't even seen all the movies, they're not into it as much as other people, they can see the potential is massive. I mean, and this is all, by the way, based off of if they do it right, if this is truly an open world game where there's quests, where you go to classes, where you can be good, you can be bad, there's dialogue options, there's all this different, you could, customize your character, there's skills maybe, and you can, level up, all this kind of stuff. Think about all of that, though. And then picture that in Hogwarts. Picture that as a fifth-year student in Hogwarts. I mean, what you could do, not only in that game, because you could set up whatever villain they would set. Now, again, this is before Voldemort. This is before Grindelwald. So which villain they choose, I mean, they could make one up for all we know, right? They could do whatever they want. Mythical elements, just in general. They could have any kind of animal that they want, right? Literally, they could go through any kind of Fantastic Beast things that they want to do, any Harry Potter, anything like that, they can include in this game. And again, that's only the setup. A thing that has me so excited that we've talked about for the Batman game. Again, to kind of bring all these Warner Bros. Games into focus, one of the biggest things, there's a lot going to go on with this Batman game, but one of the biggest things, especially what it's designed to do, is to start a gaming universe for DC. They want to make a DC universe in video games, where all these games are going to be coming out. Rocksteady, Warner Bros. Montreal. I'm sure there's more studios, by the way, working on these superhero games, and they're all going to fit in the same universe. This Batman's going to carry over. Maybe he's in a Justice League game in a different, a different studio makes, and it's just going to, build from there. That's now, the Arkham games did that. A lot of superhero games that are in their own thing, like a trilogy, or even a 1 and 2 kind of set of games. Obviously, any game that has more than one, you're building a universe for sure. But to do it this way, and Harry Potter is a little bit different, because I guess the Batman, the DC thing is multiple studios would be working on these superhero games, and they would kind of cross over. It would literally be like the movies. That is different, I guess, than any other example, right? The Last of Us, it's in the same universe universe and they're building each game, or even this Harry Potter, like there would be more games, but it would still, I mean, it's not like they're going to cross over and all of a sudden they're going to be in some sort of, other property, right? Other project. But again, the potential is so big because what can you do not only with this game, setting up whatever you want to set up, but what do you do in future games? Do you eventually get it to, are you going to stay in this time period? Are you going to eventually get into Fantastic Beasts territory? Are you eventually going to get into Harry Potter territory? Now, again, we've discussed the problems with that, right? You'd have to kind of you'd either have to retell what was already told, which gets dicey, right? Because is it like a movie tie-in game? And I obviously would not be, but people maybe would assume so. So you have to, and especially with Harry Potter, that's a tricky thing. Like, if you're retelling the movie or you're retelling the book, well, we've already done that. We've read the book, we've seen the movies, we've actually played the movie tie-in games, which are pretty much what I just described, right? So it does get dicey for sure, but if they're going to stay in this area, again, like, they can come up with their own villains, they can come up with their own enemies, they can come up with basically anything they want. Think about your favorite, like, open world, right? Whatever your favorite open world game is, and then, like, imagine for people that are into the Harry Potter, like, imagine that in the Harry Potter realm. Imagine a Witcher game, but if it was Harry Potter. Imagine Dragon Age, imagine Mass Effect. Mass Effect maybe isn't really open world, but imagine these games that have the potential to grow and set up a universe and decision making and character building, right? And all these different things. Imagine that. That is very, very exciting. This game, honestly, since day one, again, I feel like I just talked about a different game in the same kind of scope. I think it was Predator Hunting Grounds. When it first was announced, I was into it, and I was going to promote it, and I was going to get it. I knew I was going to buy it day one, the very first time I saw that trailer, because I know what they could do with it. I know that there's potential for games like that, obviously, right? Because it's been done with Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight, all this stuff. I knew that could happen, and it could be, maybe it could even be better than those games, right? But I bought it, and I was going into it thinking about the potential. Harry Potter will probably be different. I'm going to get it just because, like, oh my God, it's Harry. I'm actually a big fan of Harry Potter, right? I've seen all the movies. I've read all the books. I've gone to, like, Universal Studios. I'm big into Harry Potter. So this is right up my alley, firstly. And secondly, you do look at it and you say, of all the things that they can do with it, that's what made, those leaks back in October of 2018 at this point. We're almost 2 years from when this game first leaked, which would be incredible if we saw this game now. To know that they waited almost 2 years to announce it is crazy in its own right? But even back then, I think there was like two camps, and then even the camps kind of overlapped, where it was like the people that were like, oh my dear God, like, we're getting a Harry Potter game, and also the people saying like, hey, I'm not even into Harry Potter, but the idea of what they're saying, again, like 5th year Hogwarts student, and you get to go to classes and you level up your spells, and you can be bad, you can be good, you're going to have these relationships with these characters in terms of like friendships and stuff like that. Like, there was a lot in that leak, right? And it got people so excited of what a game like Harry Potter. And I think it's mainly the allure of, like, wizards, right? Like, the idea of magic is such a cool concept. Even if you don't like Harry Potter, I think magic in general, and I'm not talking about, like, card tricks, like, the idea of doing spells and casting spells and doing all that stuff, I think that's a pretty special thing. Just like kind of like Star Wars, like the idea of what Star Wars is, I feel like is pretty grabbing to a lot of, like, I feel like a lot of people can get behind what the basic idea of what Star Wars is. Not necessarily the movies, or not any of the movies, not any of the games, not any of the, anything. Just what the idea of Star Wars is. I think a lot of people can get behind that. Same thing with like magic, right? I think a lot of people can get behind how cool the idea of magic sounds, and now you inject Harry Potter into it, which again, a lot of people are very big fans of and have respected what they've done so far. And then you imagine, okay, you can have some liberties. You can take some liberties in a game, and you can do a lot of different stuff in a game. And again, like, you're not even restricting yourself because you don't have to follow a specific storyline. If it's so far before Harry Potter, if it's before, which it is, I believe, like, anybody who's even alive at this point, right? Maybe, like, I don't even know if, I feel like Dumbledore, because I feel like I've talked about this before, I thought, like, maybe Dumbledore could maybe be very young. I feel like I saw a comment one time that said, like, no, none of them are even alive at this point. So, again, does that that suck that like you don't even get to interact with these cool characters? Yeah, I think there is again a point in time where maybe we could, and we'll have to address the possible problems that would pose later. But I think honestly we could get to that point, and that sucks that we can't interact with Harry Potter or can't interact with Dumbledore or Voldemort. But at the same time, they're doing their own thing, and they get to craft and create their own game, their own story. That again, not only is important for this game, but let me tell you, you don't make an open world RPG game like Harry Potter. You don't do that if you're going to make one game. Okay, it's not a one-off and you're like, well, that was a fun test. We're going to go and make some other game now. No, you have all the assets. You've built the world. You have all the stuff together. Like, you're definitely going to continue it. Just like how I say that Warner Bros. Is setting up, and again, like the leaks have said it, they're setting up a DC universe. I believe, and we've talked about this, right? How they can set up a wizarding universe. Like and in fact, it's the wizarding world of Harry Potter. It literally already is its own universe. But what I mean by that is they're setting up a series of games. Not one game, not a one-off where it was like, well, that was a good test. No, you do it. You collect all your data. What did people like? And that again, with a game like this, and there are more and more games that I think are fitting this bill with me personally. I'm really excited about this game, but I'm also very, very excited about, well, this isn't the only thing. Like, I can almost guarantee that there's going to be more of these. Now, yeah, are we going to have to wait like 5-6 more years for the next one? Yeah, but that really it excites me, that one too, because, and I know it's weird, like, well, why are you talking about a game that's a sequel to a game we don't even know is real, and a game that's like 5, 6, 7 years out? It's because why? The potential of where they could go in a franchise like this is very, very exciting. And to wrap this up, the final thing is, up until this point, it's really been a lot of like, let's just speculate, let's just talk, because ever since October of 2018, it's just been the leaks, and then there was that era where a lot of people didn't believe the leaks and just was like, okay, well, this game is never happening. Ironically, I stayed very, very solid that this game was real. I made videos talking about how I believe this game is not canceled, this game still exists, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm happy to have supported it for as long as I have, and it's cool in a very different way that like now finally, literally, within a month and a half, we could be seeing the trailer for this game that has long been rumored, for again a long patch of time in this time from 2018 to now. Many people just dropped it and said like it's not real, and to kind of come back to it and finally say, no, you know what? All those people that were into it and talking about it and sticking with it, they were all right. And now by the way, now we all get to experience this game together. It's very, very exciting. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you guys excited for this Harry Potter game? Do you see the potential? Where do you think they could go in the future with these Harry Potter games? Let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now, and hit that bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And again, I try to make these videos every couple of weeks. Obviously, if there's anything big regarding this game, I'll definitely cover it as we get closer. When the reveal happens, we'll be covering it as well. Loads of videos over the coming weeks, months, and years, depending on how far out Harry Potter is, okay? Thank you again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all on the next video.